Hi, I'm Nathan Lusk with Warrior with a Pen Games. Welcome back to the gaming table, and today we're going to talk about Sengoku Huang Triple Threat. It is a game where, for up to 12 players, where each of you will control a triumvirate of generals that will, they're your team. You have each player will have a team of three. And those three are either samurai from a particular faction or a Chinese warlord's particular faction from the Three Kingdoms era of China or from the Sengoku Jedi period of Japan. And in the game, your strategy, your goal is just to eliminate all of your opponents and be the last faction standing. And to do that, each different faction available, of which there are 12, has three of its best generals put onto a card together. And when it's your turn, you determine which of your generals will be your primary attacker. And that will make the other two generals who are on that card be his backup, if you will. And so the cards for the generals look like this. So when it's this way, this is your person up front doing the fighting, and these are his two supporting members, and they all contribute to the abilities of your team. So your initial person, your primary person, has a skill listed right here. So this guy's skill is Wall, and this is only the skill he provides when he's the primary in general. Sometimes they have the same skill as a secondary skill, but this guy's primary skill is Wall. And Wall means that whenever he gets hit by an attack, whenever you're the defender and he's the man up front, that he only takes half damage whenever he's the defender. So while he's the primary, this guy is providing the skill Formation, which as a secondary skill, because he is secondary now, Formation means while you're defending, add +1 to each of your primary's dice. So he's even better on defense. And then this one, this other guy who's also in support now and is a secondary guy, he has the power Shield. And Shield as a secondary skill says when you're attacked, your primary takes 1 less damage. So when my card is this way, my player, when he is attacked, rolls his defense, which is the second number on the card, which is a 9. So he'll roll a 9 as his defense. He will he doesn't roll a 9. He rolls 9 dice in his defense. He will add +1 to every die. And however much damage he takes, he will only take half of it because of Wall. And then he will take 1 less total because of Shield. So he's a great defender for the team, and he's a pretty good attacker with a 9 attack, but that's only when he's the primary. Now, every time it's your turn, you must turn and put a new primary in play. So if this guy was your last primary, when it's your turn to take an action again, you must turn your card this way, or you turn your card this way, and you now have a new primary. You are not allowed to use the same primary 2 turns in a row. And what it does is it completely changes the way your team operates. If you switch from having Takanaka Hanbei as your primary to having Shibata Katsuye as your primary, the skills completely change, as well as his numbers. Instead of being a 9-9, Shibata's only an 8-8. And instead of, I don't even remember who was on top. It was Toyotomi that was on top. And instead of being his 9-9, you're now an 8-8. Instead of having Wall as your primary skill, which let you take half damage as a defender, you now have Charge, which means that you make 2 consecutive attacks against your opponent's primary when this guy is attacking. So totally different skill set. Plus the skills, the secondary skills that support Shibata Katsuye are no longer the same either. This time, this one will provide Raid as his helping skill. And Raid means that this guy will make a secondary attack with half of his dice. So he's an attack of 9. so that would mean 5, because you round up in this case, against the opposing primary after my primary attacks. So in other words, this guy will attack my opponent's primary, and then this guy will attack my opponent's primary with half the number of dice he normally would use. And then the other secondary skill that happens while Shibata Katsuye is on top is Overpower, which means that after an opposing primary attacks my primary, I roll 2 dice. And if I roll double 6s, I deal 10 damage back to him as my defense, as part of my defense. So it doesn't happen very often, but 1 out of 36 times, I will immediately smack him back for 10 points. Now, those are all of the people that are on Oda Nobunaga's card. He has Shibata Katsuye, he has Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and he has Takanaka Hanbei. Those are his 3 generals, and each one has a different setup whenever they're the primary. The person he's going to be playing against today is Usugi Kenshin's card. And Kenshin's 3 generals are Mogami Yoshiaki, Usami Sadamitsu, and Date Masamune. So we're going to do a short test run of just these guys. I have the poker chips out to accommodate for health. So as these characters take damage, I'm going to add poker chips to their names to show how much damage they've taken. And you are fully allowed to determine how much health you want each general to begin the game with. Because if you want a longer game, you can obviously have each of them have, say, 50 health. If you're wanting a quick game, you know, like in between games, and you want this to be over with pretty soon, you're just looking for some good filler, then you can give them each, say, 20 health, and they battle until there is no one left on the card. That's when a faction is defeated, is when they have nobody left on their card. So if you get to the point where you only have 1 general left, and when a general is knocked out, like say Usami Sadamitsu has taken the full amount of damage that he has in health. Say we're playing to 20 health and he's taken 20 damage. He gets eliminated, and he no longer can be my primary now because he's not available anymore. But anytime one of my other guys is primary, so him for instance, Usami no longer adds his secondary skill to that primary because he's not there anymore. So the dynamic changes quite a bit once you lose a general or two, and it really it really progresses the game forward quite a bit faster. Once you start losing some generals here and there, your force loses quite a bit of its power, some of its potency. So the only other thing to explain is the way the combat works. When you attack a general, you roll a number of 6-sided dice equal to your attack, and the defender rolls a number of 6-sided dice equal to his defense. Now the attacker is the only one who actually does damage, and what you do is you compare highest die to highest die, and then you go down from there. So in any die that's not matched by your opponent, in other words, if you roll 9 and the other guy rolls 8, that extra die is just an automatic win. So on defense, it isn't really that big of a deal. On offense, it's an automatic health point that you take off of them because it's an automatic win. Any ties, unless there's a skill that says otherwise, all ties are dropped. And so you're only doing damage on your dice that defeated the defender's dice. And that's generally how damage is dealt. So let's get going. You first start the game after you pick your faction, determining who you want to be on top of your card first. I think we're going to go this way. What I've chosen is to have Usami Sadamitsu on top of Usugi's card. And over here, we're going to have Hideyoshi on the top of this card because it's our best defensive guy. And we don't know who's going first yet. And now players will roll dice to see who goes first. Whoever rolls highest wins. Usugi will go first. He rolled a 4, Nobunaga rolled a 1, and now we begin the battle. So let's just say each general here has 20 health. That'll be a good benchmark for this. We'll call the blacks 10s and the reds 1s, and so that way we can keep easy track of health. So it is Wasugi's turn, and as part of my turn, I first must rotate my card and put a different guy on top. This guy was on top in case I was attacked first, but now I am the one attacking. So I want to, who do I want in my primary? I think I'm gonna switch to Mogami Yoshiaki. He is a 8/8 right there on the top of the card. He has a special skill called Raid, and when Raid is used as a primary, it means that after I hit my opponent's primary, which by the way, you always only attack their primary, the one that's on top, I am now attacking each of his secondaries with half of my dice rounded up. So I'll roll 8 dice against this primary and then 4 dice against each of his secondaries and try to do damage to them as well during the attack. Now my secondary skills with Mogami Yoshiaki will include Shield, as long as both of his secondaries are alive, so Usami and Date, as long as they're both alive. Oh no, that's not right. I read the wrong one. I read the primary skill shield. The secondary skill shield, when attacked, my primary takes 1 less damage. So he's a pretty good defender. And then he also has Mountain, which says that my secondaries cannot take damage. So this raid that I'm about to do with Mogami against Toyotomi and then go to the back and hit Shibata and Takanaka, I'm gonna do a lot of damage and they're not gonna be able to hit me back the same way that I hit them because they can't get to my primaries because I have that shield in place. So here goes the initial attack. I attack with 8 dice with Mogami because his attack is 8. Toyotomi will defend with 9 because his defense is a 9. And so let's roll these, and then I'm going to sort them. So I have a 6, a 6, a 4, a 3, a 3, a 2, a 1, and a 1. There are Mogami's dice. 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 2, 2, and then the 1 is an extra. So now we compare highest to highest and go down from there. Did not hit him very much. So every die that's higher on this side causes a point of damage to this side. So this one is a no. This one is a yes. And that's a no, 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 no. He did 1 point of damage. Mogami did 1 point of damage to Toyotomi. So we're going to put the 1 point of damage on him. And now he has raid, so he's gonna go after the 2 guys in the back. Now he does that with only half his dice, so 4, and each of them gets to use their full defense, so an 8 and a 9. So first he'll go after Shibata, who's got the 8 defense. Pretty terrible roll. I can already tell that's gonna do 0 damage. I got 4, 2, 1, 1, and I've got a 6, 4, 3, 2 over here, so no damage to Shibata. And now we're gonna go after Takanaka. Another terrible roll, 4, 3, 1, 1. The defender, 5, 5, 4, 4, so no damage there. So the raid hitting the secondary characters is not effective, and that's okay. It's not often effective. Now it is Oda's turn, and he has to turn his card to a new leader, and that leader is gonna make an attack against Mogami. So he will switch to Takanaka Hanbei, put him on top. And each card has a fighter, a warrior, and a tactician. It's just positions, they don't really mean much. And now Takanaka is attacking. His offensive, or his primary skill is Mountain, which means his secondaries cannot take damage. So that raid that just happened could not happen again. And his 2 secondary skills are Volley and Formation. Volley, hit the opposing primary for 3 extra health as long as you cause damage during your attack. That's great. So as long as I hit him for 1, it's going to actually be 4. And the other secondary skill is Formation. While defending, add +1 to each of your primary's dice. So that'll be a good defense once he gets hit back. Now he's attacking Mogami, and Mogami has the shield, which means he'll take 1 point less damage. And Mountain, your secondaries cannot take damage. So yeah, so here we go. 9 dice for the attacker. Ooh, much better roll. 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, and then 3 ones. The defender only has 8 dice, so he's definitely going to take at least 1 damage. 6, 5, 4, 3, terrible rolling. 1, 1, 1, 1. So every die that beats him counts. So that's a hit, that's a hit, that's a hit. All of these are hits. This one is not. This last one didn't have anything against it. So Mogami took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage, except he also has a shield, so he takes 1 less damage. And so he takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so he takes 6 damage. Quite a bit. Mogami, 6 damage. Boom, there we go. And now the first turn for all the players is over. And now Usugi will attack again. And of course he has to spin his card to a new attacker. I think he wants to switch to Usami Sadamitsu. He comes with the skill Blitz. In addition to attacking the primary, hit your opponent's secondaries for 1 each. That's not a great idea because we can't hit secondaries right now, so we'll not use him. We're actually going to switch to Date. He'll be our primary. His skill is Charge. You make 2 separate attacks against your opponent's primary. His secondary skills from his 2 helpers are Stalwart and Mountain. Mountain says his secondaries cannot take damage, and Stalwart says heal your primary and your secondaries by 1 after your primary's turn. So once he attacks, he will heal a point back onto Mogami. He'll get him back a point of health, and that'll actually be pretty helpful. So here we go. He's going to make the attack. We have volley. Oh, I forgot. That attack should have done 3 extra points of damage because of the volley that was on that. There we go. And formation, add 1 to his primary's dice. So he's going to make 2 attacks, but this guy gets to add 1 to every die. So here we go. Here's the first attack. Great roll. Finally. That was a 6. I rolled it when I moved it. 6, 6, 5, 5, 2, 2, 1, 1. And this defense is 9 dice. 6, 6, 5. And then a bunch of crap. 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. And so these will line up just like they almost rolled that 6 off again. Wow, it did almost no damage. So no, 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 and no on any of these. So he did 1 point of damage. And let's see, he has formation. While defending, add 1 to each of your dice. So actually that, no, that was a 3 that 5 beat. So yeah, he did cause 1 point of damage. And that's the only skills he has. And charge, stalwart. So he heals 1 point to Mogami Yoshiaki as part of his stalwart skill. And now he gets his second attack. So here he goes. Ooh, another pretty good roll. 6, 6, 5, 5. It's good on the top end, and then they just get really bad. 2, 2, 2, 2. 3 and 3 twos. The defense, no 6s at all. 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. But remember, he gets to add 1 to every die. So the 5s do equal the 6. That one equals the 6. That one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. The 3s cancel, 2s cancel, 2s cancel, and that 1 gets boosted up to equal that 2. That one cancels. No damage at all. But he does heal 1 point on Mogami again, since he attacked twice. And that's the end of Usugi's turn that time. And now it's Oda's turn to attack him back. So we'll do this last hit, and then we'll call it good. I think you can understand the game now. So he will switch. He'll put Shibata as his attacker. Shibata also has charge, so he'll get to attack twice. That's his primary. He also comes with Raid and Overpower as secondary skills. So he will try to hit the guys in the back. he can't, because mountain as a secondary skill over here means that you can't hit the guys in the back. Raid is a secondary, make a second, so this guy will also attack the primary after Shibata attacks, but he'll do it with half dice. So this one's a little bit more even of a fight. It's 8 for Shibata and 8 for Date. Let's see, Stalwart and Mountain. Okay. 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1. And then these guys for the defender. Terrible one. Ooh, 6, 6, 5, 4, and then nothing but ones. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. So the damage is none of these, but 3 of those. There we go. This one doesn't count. So 3 damage goes to Date Masamune. Boom. And now his secondary skill of raid means that Takanaka is going to raid against this primary. He uses half rounded up, so that's 5 dice against this 8 defense. So 5 attack. Here we go. Pretty good roll for only 5 dice. 6, 4, 4, 2, 1 versus my 8 defense. Better roll. 6, 6, 5, 4, 4. It does no damage. That was a 4. It does no damage. He doesn't beat any of those. So that turns over. And so this fight continues back and forth until one card is completely eliminated, where every player on that card takes 30 damage, or 20 damage, I think is what we said we're playing to. And they just continue to fight back and forth until that occurs. When you have multiple players, like more than 2, one of the important things is that you need to jog who sits where pretty often. And the easiest way to do that is after everyone has taken 2 turns. And what you do when you have more than 2 players is you start at your first player, you go all the way around the table one way. And so this first player who attacked to his or her left will then be attacked from his or her right. And then that is the last attack of that round. And then that person that made that attack will then begin the second round and go backwards until this person has made the last attack against them. And then after that, after everyone has gone around the table once each way, you need to find a random way to reseat all the teams around the table so that you're not always stuck between the same 2 factions throughout the entire game. It mixes up who is sitting next to whom and make sure that everyone has a chance to fight everyone else, and it becomes more of a free-for-all than you just battling the 2 people you're sitting next to all night. And mixing them up like that makes it a lot more social of a game. It's a bit more fun. You get to see a lot more tactics. You get to defend against and attack against a lot more tactics. And it's a really good way to keep the game moving, keep it mixed, and make it a lot more fun so that if one person's having a particularly bad night or a particularly good night with the dice, it doesn't feel like they're just picking on the same 2 people all night. So that's usually me who gets picked on with dice. You can tell this team did a really terrible job rolling dice because these dice that I was using for them are my dice. The dice I was using for the other team are someone else's who just leaves them at my house. And you could see how much better they rolled, even though they're the same brand, same style, same scheme. The only difference is the color scheme. But for some reason, my dice always suck. So I hope you appreciate this. I hope this is a game that you find interesting. It's easy, it's fun, doesn't require a lot of setup, doesn't require a lot of thought. The only part you have to keep track of are the skills. And I have all of those listed on these great sheets that tell you primary skills and secondary skills, so you know where to look based on what you're trying to look up. It's a fun game. Like all of my games, it needs some artwork added to it, and that's where you come in. I really would appreciate your help. Take a look at my Patreon page. See if there's a level there you'd be willing to support me. It's as low as $5 a month. and that'll help me get artwork on all of these games so that we can get them finished, get them out in public, and get the games made. I really appreciate you checking out this video, and hope you have a great time gaming. So have fun, have a great day, and we really appreciate it. Bye.